This is a very important message for you today. Do not ignore it. Pay attention to this message. This is the voice of the Lord, your God. There comes a moment when the noise of life begins to fade, not outside, but inside. When the soul stops searching through 100 distractions and finally begins to feel. That moment is now. Not because you planned for it. Not because you were looking for it. But because heaven knew exactly when to whisper again. You didn't click this message by accident. You didn't scroll to this place by chance. Your soul was drawn here, pulled by something sacred. And now, as your eyes move across these words, your spirit already knows, this is not ordinary. This is not entertainment. This is an answer. A response to the ache that's been quietly building in your chest. That soft ache you've hidden behind smiles and silence. The ache that says, I just want to feel again. I just want to know I'm not alone. God has not been far. You've just been busy surviving. You've been pouring yourself out in a world that rarely asks how full your heart really is. And while you've been holding it all together, heaven has been waiting. Not to correct you. Not to shake you. But to simply reach you. Not your mind. Not your surface. Your soul. That part of you that still believes in wonder. That part of you that still remembers the voice of God, even after all the years of pain. And now, He's speaking again, not in loudness, but in stillness. Not with pressure, but with invitation. This is not about doing more. It's about remembering who you are beneath everything you've carried. God is not trying to demand your attention. He's trying to restore your connection. You were never meant to feel this distant. You were never meant to harden just to survive. You were meant to feel. To breathe. To hope. And even if you forgot how to do that, He didn't forget you. You've seen a lot. Endured more than you let anyone know. You've lost people, lost time, lost versions of yourself that you mourn in silence. But through it all, He never stopped watching. Never stopped weaving grace through your days. And now, this sacred whisper is His way of saying, please don't reject me again. I've been waiting for this exact softness. This exact stillness. He's not asking you to be strong right now. He's asking you to be honest. Because that's where healing begins. That's where divine moments take root, not in noise, not in perfection, but in the raw, trembling yes of a soul that's tired of pretending. And maybe this is the first time in a long time your heart feels like opening. That's not weakness. That's proof you're alive again. Archangel Michael is close. Not because there's a fight, but because something holy is happening within you. Something quiet, but powerful. Something that doesn't need words, just presence. The walls you built to keep the world out are lowering, not in fear, but in surrender. And this surrender isn't failure. It's the beginning of flow. When God reaches out, He doesn't demand perfection, He looks for the soft yes. And your soul, right now, is whispering yes in 1,000 silent ways. With every breath, with every tear, with every moment you choose not to scroll away. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not broken beyond repair. You are just opening. And that is all heaven needed. This is not just a message, it's a meeting place. A sacred pause where the divine and the human come face to face. And your spirit already knows, it's safe now. To rest. To receive. To return. You may not realize it yet, but something divine has already begun to move. Not outside you. Within you. It started the moment you paused, the moment you gave yourself permission to read one more line. Not because you were curious, but because something inside you was longing to be found without having to explain why you feel so lost. And in this stillness, that longing met its answer. God is not reaching for your achievements, your status, or the version of you you've been showing the world. He's reaching for the hidden you. The real you. The you that's tired of pretending everything's fine. The you that remembers how it used to feel to simply believe, without guilt, without shame, without fear of being disappointed again. And as you sit in this moment, with no one watching, no one asking, no one interrupting, that version of you is slowly coming back to life. Softly. Silently. Powerfully. This isn't emotion. This is memory. Your soul is remembering something sacred, something eternal. The way it used to rest in God's presence before the world taught it to panic. The way it used to glow before it was dimmed by betrayal, rejection, and heartbreak. The way it used to trust before everything became so heavy. And now, God isn't asking you to go back. He's calling you home. Not to a place, but to a posture. The posture of being open. Being still. Being held. He never stopped watching your journey. He never turned away when you did. He stayed through every night you cried alone. Through every moment you didn't even have the strength to pray. And still, He waited. Not with impatience. With intimacy. He knew this day would come. This moment. This sacred window where you'd pause long enough for Him to come close again. And now that you've paused, He's here, not far away, but near. In your room. In your breath. In the beating of your heart. You don't need to be spiritual to feel this. You don't need to have the right words. God is not measuring your faith right now, He's meeting your ache. The ache to be understood. To be seen without being asked to explain. To be loved without having to qualify for it. And this message is not a sermon. It's not an instruction. It's a mirror. A holy mirror that reflects the part of you that was never lost, only hidden. And now that it's being seen, something inside is starting to release. Maybe it's the fear. Maybe it's the weight. Maybe it's the shame. Whatever it is, let it fall. This is a safe space. A sacred ground. You don't have to carry it anymore. Heaven is not here to remind you of your mistakes. It's here to remind you of your identity. You are not broken beyond use. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are simply in the middle of being restored. And restoration doesn't come loud. It comes like this, in stillness, in softness, in silence that feels full. Archangel Michael stands watch, not as a warrior today, but as a witness. A witness to your return. He's guarding the space around your heart right now. Because when God whispers to a soul that has suffered in silence, all of heaven pays attention. This is not small. This is not light. This is holy. And it's happening now, not because you earned it, but because God wanted you to feel what He's always felt about you. That you are still worthy of being held. Still worthy of being healed. Still worthy of being chosen, not for what you do, but simply for who you are. You don't have to chase anymore. You don't have to push. You don't have to impress. All you have to do is stay. Stay with this moment. Stay with this feeling. Stay with this sacred quiet that has been gifted to you. Because once you've tasted this kind of peace, this kind of presence, you will never again settle for anything that feels like pretending. This is not a message that ends. It's a message that begins something eternal. And even after you close this page, the whisper will remain. The shift will continue. And you will not be the same. There is a place inside you where you never stopped being real. A place no heartbreak ever touched. A part of you that never forgot the voice of God, even when you stopped responding. It's still there. Buried beneath the weight of being strong for too long. Covered under layers of being enough for everyone else while you quietly faded in the background. But today, heaven isn't knocking on the doors you show the world. God is walking straight into that place. The one you forgot. The one you locked. The one that still pulses with a light that refuses to die. And now that you've let your guard down long enough to hear this, He's stepping in gently, like He always has, whispering what He never stopped saying, "You are still mine." You don't need to explain why you felt far. Heaven already understood. You don't need to defend the walls you built. God saw the pain that poured the bricks. He watched as you smiled through days that drained you. Watched as you poured into others with a heart that no one stopped to refill. He saw you pray in silence when the words wouldn't come. He felt you hold your breath in rooms that never felt safe. And he said nothing then, not because he didn't care, but because he was waiting for this. This holy moment where you would stop trying to understand everything and finally start to feel again. The moment where you let the mask fall, not in weakness, but in surrender. And now that it's fallen, what's rising is not shame, it's light. A light that's been waiting to stretch itself back into your life, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. This is not about fixing you. This is about finding you. The you who never stopped dreaming, even when you buried those dreams for the sake of peace. The you who still loves deeply, even after so many goodbyes. The you who still believes, quietly, softly, fiercely, that something more is meant for your life. And yes, it is. That more isn't something far away. It's already here. It's you. It's your awareness waking up. Your spirit returning. Your heart remembering its rhythm. And in that remembering, heaven begins to echo. The angels begin to move. And life, as you knew it, shifts, not through force, but through divine flow. This isn't inspiration, this is transformation. This is what it feels like when heaven finally gets through, not just to your mind, but to your soul. Archangel Michael stands near, not to fight your battles, but to hold the atmosphere open while you receive. Because what's happening now isn't emotional, it's eternal. Every second you spend in this softness is undoing years of spiritual exhaustion. Every breath you take while reading this is watering roots you forgot you planted. And soon, you'll feel it. The difference. The clarity. The ease. Not because your life suddenly became perfect, but because you remembered who you are within it. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are becoming whole again, one whisper, one moment, one divine breath at a time. And even after this message ends, it won't leave you. It will live inside you. Not as words, but as awareness. As peace that shows up without reason. As quiet strength when you need it most. As presence that enters the room before your thoughts do. Because that's what happens when God reaches your soul. It's not a moment you remember. It's a place you return to. Again and again. Forever. You didn't plan to feel this today. You didn't open your heart expecting heaven to respond. You were just scrolling, maybe with tired hands, maybe with a distracted mind, but your soul, without you realizing it, was reaching. And that's the beauty of grace. It doesn't wait for perfect posture. It finds you in the mess, in the movement, in the ordinary. And in this ordinary scroll, something holy has arrived. Not to demand your attention, but to catch it. Not to give you answers, but to remind you, you are the answer to prayers you've long forgotten you whispered. Because this moment, this stillness inside you, is not just a pause. It is a turning point. Something sacred is shifting. And it's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's soft. But real. You feel it in your breath, don't you? In the way the silence feels safer than it used to. In the way your heart is still breaking open, but somehow, it no longer feels like breaking. It feels like returning. God never needed you to be louder. He never asked for perfection. He waited for this, your willingness to sit with your own soul long enough to remember who you are. This isn't a reset of your circumstances, it's a remembering of your center. You were not meant to walk through this life numbing everything just to get through the day. You were meant to feel deeply, love gently, and receive freely. And somewhere inside you, all of that is still alive. Still glowing beneath the ashes of what you lost, of what hurt, of what left. You don't need to force healing. You don't need to chase peace. You just need to stop rejecting the whisper that keeps saying, "Come back." Just come back to you. The you before the world told you how to carry yourself. The you who still heard God in the wind. The you who laughed without fear. The you who believed in miracles, not because of what you saw, but because of what you felt. And now, that feeling is returning. Not through a storm, but through a sacred silence that somehow feels louder than any noise you've ever known. That silence is not emptiness, it's the room heaven has cleared so you can finally breathe again. You're not imagining it. That ache in your chest is holy. That soft pressure behind your eyes is not tiredness. It's memory. Your soul remembering the softness it was created for. Your spirit remembering the safety it was born from. And in this remembering, something begins to bloom, slowly, gently, unshakably. The kind of bloom that cannot be undone by rejection, cannot be killed by delay, cannot be defined by failure. Because it is not coming from your effort, it's coming from God's presence. Archangel Michael has been waiting for this softness in you. He has watched you survive what others never saw. He has guarded your name when others forgot it. He has fought in the spirit for things your physical hands could not touch. And now that you are still enough to feel again, he is no longer fighting, he is watching. Watching the light return to your soul. Watching the peace settle into your body. Watching as the moment you didn't know you needed becomes the foundation for everything that's next. Because this, right here, is not just a pause. It is the shift. The moment where you stop reaching outside and begin responding to what's already been placed inside. You don't need to be more. You don't need to become someone new. You only need to say yes to the stillness that found you. Because this stillness is God. Not the distant version people painted, but the real one. The near one. The one who isn't waiting at the top of your mountain, but sitting beside you in the middle of your mess. You're not too far. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're just here. And that, beloved soul, is enough. Let the tears fall if they come. Let the breath deepen if it wants to. Let the silence stay a little longer. Because heaven is not finished speaking, and this time, you're finally listening. You didn't miss it. Whatever your thoughts have told you, whatever guilt has whispered, whatever timelines the world tried to place on your heart, heaven has never agreed with them. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are right on time. Right on time for the return God always knew would happen, not through force, not through perfection, but through a single, surrendered moment. This moment. The moment where the noise finally quieted. The moment your soul softened just enough to let His presence walk through again. You didn't need to climb some spiritual ladder. You didn't need to fix everything first. All you needed was to stop running and feel. And now, here you are, eyes wide open, heart cracked just enough for light to come through. And what you feel right now? It isn't confusion. It's divine recognition. You're finally standing in the place where heaven always knew you'd come back to, the place where God speaks, not with orders, but with whispers. The place where your soul finally stops surviving and starts remembering. You have nothing to prove in this space. Not to Him. Not to yourself. God isn't watching you from a distance with a checklist, He's sitting with you in stillness with compassion in His eyes. He knows what it cost you to get here. He knows how long you've been carrying the weight of almost. Almost healed. Almost okay. Almost strong again. But this moment doesn't ask you to almost anything. It asks you to simply be. Be held. Be known. Be real. Let go of the expectation to always be composed. Let go of the belief that silence means distance. It never has. In fact, some of the deepest connections are made in silence, and right now, that's where God is meeting you. Not in a rush. Not with demands. But in the space between your breaths where your soul has been calling for home. And this is home. Not a location. Not a destination. But a feeling. A return to yourself. A return to peace. A return to the you that still believes, even when the facts scream otherwise. The you that dares to hope again, not because life is easier, but because heaven is nearer. That's what's different now. Not the world. You. Something has shifted in you. Something has cracked open gently. Something eternal has stood up quietly inside your chest. And maybe you don't know how to name it, but you feel it. The difference. The softness. The awareness. You are no longer scrolling for escape. You are scrolling with presence. With clarity. With the kind of holy stillness that says, this is not just another moment. This is my moment. Archangel Michael knows the weight of what's happening. He has watched over your process when no one else could see it. And now, he stands still, not with his sword raised, but with his wings open, shielding this sacred atmosphere around you. Because what's unfolding is not a battle, it's a birthing. A gentle birthing of the truest version of you. The one who knows how to live from rest. The one who knows how to walk in softness and still carry fire. The one who doesn't need to chase blessings, because you've become the space where blessings land. And from now on, you will see it. The way people look at you differently. The way peace follows you. The way conversations shift when you show up. Not because you changed your clothes or your tone, but because you finally stopped rejecting what God never stopped sending, Himself. You don't need to rush into action after this. You don't need to post anything. You don't need to tell the world what you've just felt. Just sit with it. Let it breathe. Let it live inside you. Let it water every dry part of your heart that forgot what peace feels like. This message wasn't written to give you a plan. It was sent to give you permission. Permission to stop running. Permission to stop striving. Permission to stop holding your breath. And to finally rest. Not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who is finally okay with simply being present in the arms of the one who never left.